We are continuing our learning on unit rate and using ratio language to describe them and solving real world problems by working out the mathematical formulas for them. Any questions? Good. Before we start on today's lesson, we're going to do a review of finding the missing quantity in each proportion. And we've done this several times, so this should not take you long. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes, and then we will go over it. Go for it. Okay, let's look at number 1. Can I do something to 18 to get to 162 evenly? Yes, what? Times 9. So 3 times 9? So 27 bows. Okay, number 2, can I do something to 30 to get to 1 evenly?
Yes.
What? What? Divide by 3. 18 divided by 3? 6 arrows. Can I do something to 80 to get to 1600 evenly? What? Times 20. So what is 8 times 20? 160 shoes. And can I do something to 8 to get to 1 evenly?
Yes, divided by 8.
So 80 divided by 8? 10. Stop. Any questions? We have done this many, many times. Let's look at the next page. All right, here is a thinking question. You are doing it on your own, not discussing it with your neighbor. I'm going to give you a few minutes to work on it, and then I will come and give you a hint and give you another minute to work on it, okay? You're not getting a hint first. I want your brain power to come through. All right, Marta and Brad go to the store to buy some laundry detergent for a neighbor. They see that the brand she wants comes in 2 different sizes. 26 fluid ounces for $9.75 and 20.5 fluid ounces for $7.25. Which size should they buy, and explain why? So I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to think about it, and then I will come back and give you a hint if you are lost. All right, guys, if we are comparing them to see which one is a better buy, we are looking for the one that is cheaper. So we need to find how much it costs per ounce. What does per ounce mean? Every one. So I am starting with, I know, $9.75 for 26 fluid ounces, yes? But to compare them, I want to know how much for 1 fluid ounce. Just like what we did on our review, guys. Then I know that it is $7.25 for 20.5 fluid ounces. And I want to know how much for 1 fluid ounce. Now, can we finish the problem? You should be able to. I'm going to give you 2 more minutes. So if I'm going from 26 fluid ounces to 1 fluid ounce, what would I do? Divide by 26. So I need to divide the top number by 26. So I have $9.75 divided by 26. I don't have a decimal outside. So all I need to do is move the inside one up to my answer. Can 26 go into 9? No. Can it go into 97? Yes. How many times? 3. And that's 78. 7 minus 8 I can't do, so I borrow. 17 minus 8? 9. 8 minus 7? 1. Bring down my 5. 26 into 195? 7? 2, 4, yeah. 3, 1. But I'm going to stop there because I'm talking about money, and I already have my 2 numbers behind my desk. Yes? So I can say that it is about 37 cents per ounce. Does that make sense? All right, then the bottom one, what would I do to 20.5 ounces to get to 1 Divided by 20 and a half. Any number divided by itself equals 1. Yes? So what do I need to do to my top number? Divide it by 20 and a half. So I have $7.25 divided by 20 and a half. This time I do have a decimal outside. So I need to move it once to make it a whole number. So I move this one once and move it up into my answer. Make sense? Can 205 go into 7?
No. Yes.
72?
No.
725?
Yes.
How many?
3.
3, and that is 615.
Oh, cookies.
So that leaves 110, and I add a 0 since we have a decimal. How many times can it go into 110? I mean 1,100. 5. And that is 1,025, I believe. So I'm going to stop there because I am 2 numbers after the decimal. So it is about 35 cents per fluid ounce. So one of them costs 35 cents and one of them costs 37 cents. Which one should we buy? The second one, the 20 and a half fluid ounce bottle. Yes? Because it is cheaper per ounce. Guys, it was a word problem, so you need a word answer. Make sense? Any questions? I'll leave it up for just a minute so you can get that on your paper. All right, you should have had enough time to copy that onto your paper, turn the page, and take out your highlighter and your vocabulary sheet, please.
Like twist of irony. Although we've been doing it for a while, now we will finally give you the definition. In which the numerator or denominator has a value of 1 unit. Basically, it's saying you have the ability to switch either one to 1, and that will give you your unit rate. I'll find that one on your vocab sheet as well. Make sure you filled in that blank. And go ahead and highlight it in your book. Now, you guys may remember that's the day we gave you about 2 weeks ago. We told you it was going to be very important, that it's actually one of the pieces we use to help determine whether you get a math support class next year or whether you get an extra elective. Good news. This is actually the lesson that was on. Well, because that was 2 weeks ago, we hadn't given you the lesson for it yet. We are going to give you a second chance to do it. So today's lesson is critically important because you will be taking this SCFA again on Thursday. Another test. Okay, we'll do that, or we'll just count the first one. But I think it'd be better if you've actually been educated on how to do it before you do it. Your results will probably be better, at least for most of you. Maybe an exception. Oh, it's a joke. Because if you remember looking at the rubric, one of the big things they asked you on the SCFA was to draw a model of your estimate. We did not taught you how to do models. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm teaching you how to draw your models, guys. Okay, here's what we do. We're comparing the 2 things that we just did. So she's going to do, instead of exact measurements, she's going to do an estimate. So her estimate, she's going to say, well, it's about $10 for that 25 fluid ounces. So for her model, she draws 25 boxes for each of the fluid ounces, and she is dividing it by 10. Okay? Richard, you following on this? You'll need to be able to draw these models. Then to put it into mathematical format, here is the proportion that she did. She said, okay, my $10 is being divided into 25 fluid ounces. I want to figure it out for 1 fluid ounce. So how do I go from 25 to 1? Divide by 25. So guess what I'm doing to the 10? Divide by 25. Guys, right here is the key to all of your success on this SDFA. If you can set up your proportions and understand how to do these, you should be just fine. The big thing is you're going to get to the unit rate of the same thing. In this case, she has chosen to go down to fluid ounces. She's now going to do the same thing in estimating for the other one. So instead of, she says now it's a 21 fluid ounce instead of 20 and a half, and it's about $7. So she's using numbers 21 and 7 that are going to work well with each other. Yes? And again, she's doing the model is the same. So whatever you decide to model, she is modeling the fluid ounces. So she says there's 21 of them. She's dividing it into the $7. So we take our $7, divide it into 21 fluid ounces. Again, we're going to choose the same thing so that we can compare. In this case, it's the 1 fluid ounce. How do I go from 21 to 1? Divide by 21. So guess what I'm doing to the 7? Dividing by 21. You come out to a repeating 3. So that's going to go on forever. So we then round that to 33 cents. Then she has to reason through it. So her reasoning is, well, I pay 40 cents per fluid ounce for the larger bottle, or 33 cents per fluid ounce for the smaller bottle. So would you rather pay 33 cents or 40 cents? 33 is a better deal, yes? So everybody understand that? So she says the smaller bottle is the better deal because I get more, I get a fluid ounce for less money. Does everybody follow everything that we just did? You understand how to do the models? Because you'll be expected to do those on Thursday. You understand how to set up the proportions?
Yes.
You understand how to get it down to 1? Okay? Any questions on that page before we go to the next one? Okay, let's go to our next page. There we go. Harold, or Brad, is thinking about it a little bit differently. Instead of going per fluid ounce, he's going to say, well, how much of it do I get for $1? So his model is going to change. He is now saying, okay, I'm going to take the 25 fluid ounces and I'm going to divide it into the $10 because the number was rounded up to 10. Again, this is just an estimate. Does the math, but now instead of going to 1 fluid ounce, he is going to $1. It's still a unit rate because I'm going down to 1, but he's doing the other unit. So how do I go from 10 down to 1? Divide by 10. So what am I going to do to 25? Make sense for everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the model for the smaller bottle is now going to reflect what he did on the larger bottle. So now he's dividing up the 21 fluid ounces into 7 boxes because it's about $7. So his proportion, 21 fluid ounces for $7. But again, we need to compare the same thing. So I need to get to the same piece for the unit rate. He's going down for the $1. How do I go from 7 to $1? Divided by 7, so guess what I do is 21. Make sense? Is everybody okay so far?
Yes.
Okay. Here's the big difference. Now he's saying, I'm getting 3 fluid ounces for $1 with the smaller bottle. The bigger bottle, I'm getting 2.5 fluid ounces for $1. So which one is the better deal?
2.5.
3.
3, because I'm getting more for the $1.
Oh, okay. I just heard you say 1 at the bottom and then 2.5.
You can check the video. So it changes your thinking a little bit, because last time we said, well, it's costing me less for each fluid ounce. Now I'm saying I'm getting more for every dollar. As long as you can follow the reasoning, you come to the same conclusion, the small bottle is the better deal. Does it make sense for everybody? You have to be able to defend it. It doesn't matter if you go to the dollars or to the fluid ounces, but you have to understand why it's a better deal. You have to be able to verbalize it. So, 3 major parts. Do the models for your estimates, set up your proportions and solve, and explain your reasoning, why you've chosen the better deal. Everybody okay on those? Any questions for any of those 3? Because this is literally what you're going to be doing on Thursday. Okay. So if you've got this down, we already did the actual, so we're going to skip to that page and give you guys a chance to practice doing unit rates. In this one, we have each situation relates to quantity and a price. Calculate the 2 different unit rates associated with each situation, price per item, and number of items per dollar. So I'm going to set part A up for you. I'm going to just set up, we'll let you work it out so you can understand how it goes. Guys, every problem should go just like this. The numbers and units will change, but the setup will not. Every setup is going to go just like this. I'm going to start with the rate they've given me, 250 vitamins for $12.50. 250 vitamins for $12.50. And I can go ahead and put my units on the other side. I'm going to do both, so I'm actually going to set this up twice because I'm going to have to do it twice. 250 vitamins, $12.50, vitamins and dollars. And one of them, I'm going to 1 vitamin, and the other one I'm going to $1. Because I want the unit rate for each. So all I'm doing is, how do I go from 250 to 1? Divide by 250. So guess what I'm doing to 1250? Dividing by 250. How do I go from 1250 to 1?
Divided by 12.
Divide by 1250. So guess what I'm doing to 250? Divided by 1250. Always do the same thing. Does everyone understand what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay. So the first one, all you got to do right now is the math for those 2 problems, which it looks intimidating, but it's actually not that difficult. And then you're going to do the same thing for B, C, and D. If you manage to finish those, you can start on number 2. It's basically going to be the same deal. All you're going to do is, instead of money, you're going to go to tomatillos and the different things that they got in there. Okay? So we'll give you guys about 10 minutes because you basically have 8 problems to do. Don't forget how to do your decimal division either. Remember about moving the decimals and divisors. Go ahead and get started.
All right, let's look at these. Letter A was already set up for you. You're dividing by 250. So 1250 divided by 250. I don't have a decimal outside, so I move the one inside into my answer. Can 250 go into 1? 12? 125?
Yeah.
1250?
Oh, yeah.
How many times? 5. And that is 1250. And leave 0. So 1 vitamin costs 5 cents. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. And then I'm dividing by 1250. So this time I have 250 inside and 1250 outside. I need to move my decimal how many times?
2 times.
Twice. So I need to move this one twice and add 2 zeros and move it up into my answer. Make sense? So can 1250 go into 2? 25? 250? 2,500? How many times? And that is 2,500. Leave 0, bring down this 0. Can it go into 0? No. So I get 20 vitamins for $1. If I multiplied this 5 cents times 20, how much is that? $1. So if one vitamin is 5 cents, does it make sense that 20 would be $1? Yes, because the math works.
Oh, wait, I actually got that.
I know, right?
Logic. It's so cool. Okay, guys. Our next one. We have 40 batteries. $25.95. So we're gonna do this twice. So I'm gonna go to one battery and some amount of dollars. Then we have to do it again. 40 batteries and $25.95. That was terrible. $25.95 and yeah. That's all right. $1. Okay, so the first one, I'm dividing by 40. We're going to divide this one by 40. So $25.95 divided by 40. I don't need to worry about my decimal because it's on the inside, meaning my decimal just comes straight up in my answer. 40 will not go into 2 or into 25. Into 250, that's going to go 6 times. Gives me 240, gives me a 9, 195. That's going to go 4 times. Subtract 160, gives me 35. Technically, we should go one more spot to get to round for the nearest dollar. 4 is going to go into 95. That should be a 3, sorry. 350 is going to go 8 times. So 648 means that's going to be about 65 cents per 0.65. So 65 cents per battery. And then we're just going to go the other way. So now I got to go dividing by $25.95. So we divide by $25.95. Now the math gets a little more complex, but it's really not that bad. So I take 40 divided by $25.95. I need to move my decimal twice. I'm going to add 2 zeros before I bring my decimal up. It's going to go once into 4,000. We'll go into 440 or 400, but we'll go into 4,000. Let's subtract 2,595. Got to borrow, bring the zeros all the way across. Gives me a 5, 0, 4, and 3. What did I do? Oh, 1. That's a 3 minus 2 is 1. And now we're going to add another 0, because it's not at 0 yet. Goes into 14,000. 25 into 140. We go about 5 times. 6 times. Probably 5. We'll do 5 first. So that gives us 25, 47, 29, 15, 12. Feels pretty good. Again, we're going to borrow across. Gives us 10. Gives us a 5. Gives us a 14, 7, 0, 1. And we'll just stop there. It doesn't say how far we have to go. We'll say basically 1.5 batteries per dollar. Because of the way it's worked out. Some good news for you guys, you will be allowed to use a calculator on the SCFA on Thursday. So when you have numbers like this, the key is making sure you put them in the correct spot. Okay? Our next one, 24 rolls for $16.25. Please stop the chatter in the background, guys. Into $16.25. And I know it's going to be some number of rolls. some number of dollars. So the first one, we go down to one roll. Then I divide by 24. So we're going to take 1625, divide it by 24. Won't go into 1 or 16. My decimal comes straight up. 162, that's going to go about 6 times. 6 gives us 24, 12, 14. Have to borrow gives me a 5. 12 minus 4 is 8. 18. 185. So that one's going to go about 7 times. Gives us 28, 14, 16, 17. At this point, again, because we're looking at dollars, so we'll go to the nearest cents. We'll go one more decimal place. 170, that's going to go about 5 times. And that actually is 170. No, it's not. 120. Yeah, it's just going to be higher than that. But the bottom line is it's bigger than 5, meaning that's going to be about 68 cents. Everybody good on that one? Then we're going to do the same thing, 24 rolls, 1625. But now we have to go to $1. So how many rolls for $1? So I'm going to have to divide by 1625. Divide by 1625. I'm just going to do this one right here. So we do 24 divided by 16 and 2500. I need to move my decimal twice, so I move my decimal twice on the inside to bring it up. 1625 will go into 2 or 24 or 240. It will go into 2,401. Subtract 1625. Bring across my 10. Gives me a 5, a 7, and a 7. Still not a 0, so I'm going to add my decimal and another 0. 7750, that's going to go 6, 5, about 5 times. Gives us a 25 and 12, 31, 5, 8. That's too much. So we actually got to go back down to 4. So it gives us 28, 24, 6, 0, 7, 270, 1270. We're really close. Let's go one more decimal point. Actually, let's go there for now. So that's going to be about 1 4/10 rolls per dollar. Does everybody understand the concept? Okay. Again, on the actual SCFA this time, we will allow you to use calculators. So the fact that these numbers get a little difficult, hopefully won't be as big of an effect. 2 keys. You have to set them up correctly. You need to put the correct number into the calculator to divide it. Okay? Now, not all unit rates involve money, like 2 different unit rates associated with each situation. So this one, you're kind of doing the exact same thing, but I'm just using different things. We're not using money. And these numbers should work a lot better. Okay? So we'll give you guys about 7 minutes to try to do these 4. Remember, I'm doing 2 different unit rates. And I'm going to do 1 for 1 goat and 1 for 1 tomatillo. Everybody good? Let me vote. Okay, that's what we're giving you 8 minutes. Go. And there's a lot of people that were struggling. And here's the problem, guys. Quite frankly, you're being lazy. You're struggling. If you will literally do this, none of this should be difficult. Can everybody do that? Okay. Now I look at my units, goats and tomatillos, and I'll be like Isaac, and I'm going to make a key. I'm going to say G is number of goats, and T equals number of tomatillos. So now I can just use abbreviations for all the rest of it. So I have G's and T's. Can you do that? able to do that. Nothing I've done so far is difficult, guys. If you understand the process. Now I can go to my problem. I have 5G and 12T's. Can everybody do this? Should be able to. There's nothing difficult. Have I done anything difficult so far? No. Doesn't require a lot of writing.
No.
Yeah, it does. I'll be honest. That's quite a bit of writing.
But it's fun.
But it's not totally horrendous. But if you're not willing to do the writing, this is going to become a lot more difficult. Now I literally just pick 1. Do I want my G's to be 1 or my T's to be 1? Doesn't matter because I got to do both. So how do I go 12 to 1? I divide by 12. So I take 5, I divide by 12. So that I'm going to have to actually do the math on. 5 divided by 12. It won't go into evenly. So it won't go into 5, goes into 54 times. 48 gives me a 2. 20 is going to go once. Gives me an 8. 80 is going to go 7 times. So it didn't say where we need to round to, but we'll make it to the nearest 100 or the nearest 10. So really it's 4/10 of a goal to Tormentillo. Now, here a quick side note, Lucas actually had a really good question. He said, how do I have 4/10 of a goat? You don't. The problem in this situation was I had 5 goats that ate 12 tomatillos. So I can break it down to a unit rate, but if I wanted to actually be able to apply it to real world, I need to multiply that 4/10 times something that's going to give me a whole number, such as multiplying by 12. Okay? Make sense? The other way we would have done this, and it starts the same, 5G over 12T. I put a G and a T, but not last time I went to 1T, so this time I go to 1G. I divide by 5. 12 divided by 5. So 12 divided by 5 is going to go twice. We'll go into 1. Gives me a 2. Need to bring my decimal up. 20 is going to go 4 times. So this one becomes 2 4/10 Tormentillo, which is why we end up, when I look at from the goat perspective, I end up with parts of the goat to get one. Does everybody understand what we did?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I want to get another practice page, so I'm not gonna do the other 3 for you. If you were able to do them, awesome, good job. But now let's actually skip 2 pages. I was talking about them. Here is this is actually almost exactly like your SCFA is going to be. This will be a really good example for you. You have 3 different prices, 4 different prices, 4 different sizes. Find a unit rate. It doesn't, this one does say unit rate price per ounce. So in other words, I'm going to take the ounces to 1. Every one of these is going to start the same. You're going to have ounces, dollars, but you're going to put in each individual one and go down to, I want the price per ounce, so I got to go to 1 ounce. Make sense?
Yeah.
So this is your framework for all 4 problems. See how many of them you can finish in the next 4 minutes. Go. Okay, we're running out of time, so I'm going to just do this really quickly. We got 32 or 1024. How am I getting there? Divide by 32. So 1024 divided by 32. Won't go here or here. It's going to go 3 times. Gives me 96. Gives me 64. So that's going to go twice. So that's 32 cents per ounce. Our next one, we have 24 ounce for $6. That's going to go to ounces and dollars. I want to go to 1 ounce for every one of these. So I'm going to divide by 24. Divide by 24. So I have, and here's where you're going to run into trouble with the calculator, because a lot of you will automatically go 24 divided by 6 is 4. But that's not what we're doing. You have to put it in the calculators correctly. I'm doing 6 divided by 24. It won't go into 6. I'm going to 24 twice. Gives me a 48. So that's 120. Still not there. 120 is going to go 5 times. So that one is 25 cents per ounce. Because I want to go through the homework, I'm not going to do the other two. But you now see, just with the two I've got, would you rather pay 25 cents per ounce or 32 cents per ounce?
32.
25. 25 is going to be a better deal because I'm paying less per ounce. That's where you have to be able to look at the problem and figure out, how do I know the better deal? Am I getting more for that dollar, or am I paying less for each ounce? Okay?
Why is your book
Do
better?
your homework. Page 329. We're on page 329. I'm going to give you guys some good setup. So if you'll copy down what I'm writing right now, it can help you out immensely. This key defining unit rate, words, that should be a very easy journal entry. We've given you the rates. Write a unit rate. Does it tell you which one you have to do? No, here's your Mr. Moore tip. Use the single digit number. Okay? So whichever one is single digit, that's what I'm going to divide by, because it didn't tell me which one I had to do. So I've got this one over 4 minutes. Your basic setup is going to be the same for every single one of these. I start with my double proportion and put in my units. Now everything becomes easy. Which is the smaller number? 4. So that's what I want to go to 1. How do I go 4 to 1? Divide by 4. Divide by 4. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? Guys, every single one is going to be the same. Trade, ice cube, equals, trade, ice cube. Got 5 and 90. Which number is smaller? 5. That's the one I want to go to 1. It's going to make the math easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Everybody see what we're doing? You see what I should have on every single problem? Because I'm tired of seeing people that are just doing decimals, random multiplications. That's not good. Now, number 2, they've given us a 13 pound for $1.89 and 15 pound for $26.99. Do I really have to do any work on this? No, they've already broke it down to a pound for me. So you break this one down for per pound, and then you should be able to tell me which one is better. So you're really only doing one problem on that. This one, the key here, it's 8 lens boxes in packs of 2 for 52, 10 lens boxes, packs of 4 for 120. You need to figure out the price per lens. Realize with the lenses are different. You got to figure out how many lenses are being sold in each set. Go to your last page. This one is pretty straightforward. A 20-pound bag, $16.95. 30-pound bag, $24.95. Figure out which one is the better price. Doesn't matter. It doesn't tell you which one you have to go to 0 on, so I would divide by the 20 and the 30. It'll make it easier. This one, they did 43 kilometers in 2. They want to know 3. Guys, you're going to have to step back to go forward. So simplify the 43 and 2 to figure out what you do in 1. Then you can either add it or multiply by 3 to get to the next one. Number 6, we're completing the tables. Okay? They've given you the table. Remember, we always start where I have 2 entries, yes? From here, now go back to your unit rate is my suggestion to make life easy for yourselves. So I'm dividing by 5. Once I have my unit rate, then I can go to any of them. Although technically I could just use additive here. I could say, okay, 5 plus 5, 160 plus 160. Doesn't matter how you do it, just show your work. Okay, guys?
Yeah.
So you got 3 tables. The rest I've already shown you. Good luck.